Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, first things first, like 3 weeks ago, we talked about um, how do you know if you're doing a good job prospecting? And what we came up with was that if you're doing a good job prospecting, that means that you're having conversations, right? And if you're having conversations of any kind of substance, you are able to tell me a story. And the way that you know how you did on prospecting for the week was how many stories do you have to tell about prospecting type conversations? So you thought I forgot, but I didn't. Who has a prospecting story that they can tell me that occurred this week? Does anybody have a prospecting story that they can tell me about that occurred this week? If you don't, that's okay. That just means that you're not doing it. Nothing? Nobody? Okay, so no prospecting stories means no prospecting. No prospecting means no what? Business, right? Business. Remember, everything lasts, or excuse me, everything takes, anything that you do today doesn't show up as money in your bank account for like 60 days. And that never stops. So if you're not constantly working on filling that pipe or adding conversations or having conversations, you're just kind of delaying the inevitable. And think about that for a minute, because uh, a lot of people struggle with they get something in escrow, their escrow consumes them, they know they've got a check coming, so they kind of shut everything off. They kind of shut everything off. And then they wait to get back to work until after that escrow's closed. So what's that mean? That means that, I see you. That means that as soon as you get that check, it's going to be 60 days before you get another one. That's not a good feeling. All right, Jess, go with the hand up.
Can you share a prospecting story with us so that we have an example and maybe we'll be inspired?
Sure. But my prospecting story for the week has to do with an agent. Do you guys want to hear that? Because remember, I try and sell houses and I try and sell agents. So we had the presentation a week, was it a week ago? A week or so ago about NextHome Refresh, right? And what that program is. So what I did was, and I've been doing kind of a crappy job because I've been inundated, but I did reach out to like three agents and I sent them a little deal that, said something like, um, this is the program. It's really, really cool. It really works well for an agent that does a lot of listings like you. It's a game changer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the agent piped back and said, "Wow, that's really interesting, and your timing is phenomenal because we're talking about how our team is going to develop a better selling program than, our competitors. And we've talked to a few different providers. And when I say providers, what I mean is like providers of selling features, like Curbio or Studio or somebody like that, about how to import that into our, offering to a seller. And we're just really not impressed with any of them. And um, this sounds really, really good. And I said, well, it is really, really good. Number one, I told my Bay Area story, like I told you guys. I'm not going to bore you with that again, but I told my Bay Area story and said, hey, I would love to sit down with you and your team, or just you, and go over everything that we have to offer a listing agent, or an agent that does a lot of listings like you do, because I think that you'll really appreciate it. And it's a suite of a package of materials and offerings that I'm really, really proud of. Um, so yeah, we'll set that appointment. We'll sit down and see where it goes from there. That's one of my prospecting stories for the week. Is that inspiring or not? Yeah. Okay. Good. 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 So, what's next? Who's in here? All right, just looking. Okay, good. Let me give you a little bit of marketing update. Um, Everybody knows that it's been a little bit weird. Okay, been a little bit tough. And I hate talking about this over and over again, but I think that it's really, really important to understand some things about the market and where we are in the market. Okay. So what I did was I did a little bit of research. I looked at our three primary counties, right? Sacramento, Placer, and Nevada. I looked at those three counties, and what I wanted to know was this. I wanted to know how many listings were on the market, and I'm just going to give you totals. And if anybody really wants to know, we can break it down. But I looked at three categories. I broke it up three ways, and then I totaled it. The first one was $0 to $650,000 list price. The second category was $650,000 to $950,000 list price. And then the final category was $950,000 and up. Okay, everybody with me? So I wanted to know how many listings there were on the market, number one. And then number two, I wanted to know in the 2 week period, how many of the last 2 week period, let me clarify, the last 2 week period, how many listings went under contract? Okay, so you with me? How many listings are there on the market? How many of them went pending? Okay. Um, I was shocked. So let me start with um, let me start with Sacramento County. Biggest market out of our three counties, right? 2,467 active listings total. Okay. How many went pending in 2 weeks? Somebody guess. Somebody guess. 2,467 listings. How many listings went pending in 2 weeks? Jess, what? One? No. 1,000. Jessica says 1,000. Michael says 500. 500? Okay, I've got 500. Where's the smartest guy in the room? Alan, can you hear me? Are you driving? If you're driving, don't answer. Okay, I think he's driving.
Hey, you there?
Yep, I can hear you. Give me a guess.
So what was that question again? I think three. I told you last week. Three sold out of that. Not four sold out of that much.
2,467 listings, Sacramento County. How many listings went pending in 2 weeks?
Oh, in 2 weeks.
Yep.
I would say 10.
10. Okay. 1,510. The answer is 163.
Really, that much?
Yep, 163. Before you say really that much, though, Alan, let me tell you, that's 7%.
I was thinking, I was going at 10%,
Yep,
to be
that's
honest.
7%, right? So 7% of the listings available in Sacramento County. It's actually a little bit less because really I have to add the 163 back to the 2,467, then get the total. So it would be a little less than 7%, but I didn't do that.
Right.
Placer County. Placer County, 1,110 listings available.
I did my math wrong. On 10% on that would be 100. Yeah.
Right, right. 68 listings went pending in Placer County. 68. That's 6%. Okay.
Yeah.
Nevada County. Nevada County. 496 listings available. 31. Also 6%.
Yeah.
So guys, it is dismal. I want you to understand that what that percentage in 2021 would have been something like 60%.
Right.
60% of the available listings would have gone pending in 2 weeks. Okay.
Hey, before I start driving again, I got a question for you. Finish what you're gonna
Shoot.
say. Finish what
Shoot.
you're saying.
What's your question? Shoot, so that you can drive.
Well, yeah. You asked about conversations. I've had a lot of conversations, but they're not winning conversations, okay? They're
Yep.
not worth talking about.
Yep.
But with that said, I waste a lot of energy getting phone numbers. I use peoplesearch.com and well, that's pretty much what I use.
Huh?
Well, not .com, people search. What do you use? Because I get a lot of bogus phone numbers.
If you have a list of addresses or a farm that you want to prospect and you give it to us, we can skip trace it for you for 12 cents a name. You only,
Yeah, I could do that with First American. That's what I was trying to avoid.
yep, yep, that's the one I use. And the only reason I use it is because it gives me their phone number and or their email address, and I only pay for the ones that come back with data.
I guess I'll do that. It's freaking better than
It,
I spend 10 minutes per phone number, so that's probably a bit.
Alan, I don't want to burst your bubble or anything. I know that we watch our dollars and cents, but 100 names is $12.
Yeah, but it's a principle, my friend.
I know, I know. I'm not
It's
going to
not like
win
I
that.
need money, so I'm not saving the money. I hate to go tell Jim Franks, hey, give me these phone numbers when he used to give it to me for free.
I know, I know. I'm not going to win the principal argument with you.
Okay,
Okay,
good deal.
get
I'm
driving
gonna head
again.
on driving.
Yeah, get driving again. Oh, I muted him. Sorry, Alan, I cut you off. Um, so
Hey, I
back,
may have a lakefront offer coming today. That one more thing might be good for a group. The agent that I was making off the same lakefront.
yep,
Um, she wasn't reviewing offers till the 20th of May, which kind of pissed me off. That was a long time.
that's a
I said,
long
okay,
time.
right, okay. So she calls me today and says, "Hey," that's why I'm rushing home. She calls me today and says, "Hey, you bringing that offer in?" I go, "What do you mean? We don't need it till the 20th." She goes, "No, no, it's today. I thought I told you." I go, "You didn't tell me." And I go, "Well, didn't you go look on the computer?" I go, "No, I got your paper right next to me." "Well, it's not my responsibility. You need to look at the computer." Well, anyways, I kind of got off on her a little bit. You know me, I just kind of told her, "Listen, the respect would be simply call me when you know." She goes, "Well, I didn't know. I got turned in." Boom. She got turned in today because somebody else is coming with an offer. She had no offer a week ago. If she would have taken my offer like I legally should have, we would have had the house.
And now you got to go against another one.
Right, because she did something on, how's that work?
Man, if she posted that she's not reviewing in advance, then she can get away with it. But I tell you, it's dirty. You know what I mean? Like
Damn dirty.
it's dirty. Uh, but again, I don't think you're going to win that argument because she let everybody know that, hey, look, we're not reviewing them till the 20th. So I think,
I guess that's illegal. So I guess everybody knew, but one person did turn her in, and that's why.
yep, yep,
Oh
yep.
well, I'll let you get on with your meeting.
Okay, buddy. Good luck. Let me
Okay,
know how it
hey,
goes.
okay, take it easy, man.
Email it if you want me to review it.
I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So back to our stats. Thanks for letting us tangent there a little bit. But an average healthy market is those numbers are all 20%, right? So we're just so far away right now from average and healthy. It's ridiculous. Let's talk about Cindy's listing real quick, because Cindy's numbers are of the listing that she's got in Jackrabbit are horrible. Now she got an offer on Jackrabbit, which we're all really really excited about, but it's lower than we would have wanted. But here's what Cindy's facing, folks. Okay, here's what Cindy's facing. In Cindy's price segment, there are 290 listings in Placer County. 290. Okay. And in the 2 week period that we're talking about investigating, only 13 went pending. The fact that Cindy's got an offer to negotiate is a really big deal. And what I'm going to get to here is this. We have to change perception. Okay. We have to change perception and we have to let sellers and buyers know where they are. And Cindy and I talked about this for quite a bit this morning. The instinct is for the seller to respond to the offer that Cindy presents and say, well, that's a low offer. No, it's not. It's an offer. Okay. When I reframe this for you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, to tell you that you have 290 competitors and only 13 of those competitors went pending in a 2-week period of time, the fact that we have an offer, we have something to discuss, is a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. All right. We have to change that perception. And it's really, really important for sellers at this point in time to try to find agreement. Try to find an agreement and put the thing under contract, because the other options aren't good. Okay? You don't like the offer, you don't want to put it under contract, you've got options. It's your property. What's option number one? Option number one, stay on the market. See what happens. Okay? It's not a great option at this point in time, because we don't know when the next offer is going to come in, and we don't know that it's going to be any better than the one that you've got in front of you right now, particularly when we're on a trajectory that's going this way for demand and for price. Option number two is keep it. Keep the house. Right? So we've got to get them to the point of reality today, the reality of today's market, which is this is not 2021, 2022. Okay? This is where we are today. But the way that we're going right now, the way that we're tracking right now, it's only going to get more competitive. Okay? Think about that. Let's switch to buyers. Yeah, I know, buyers, I know the rate is not what you think it should be. Okay? And we've talked about this before. But if you're waiting for the 4 number or something around that, you're going to be waiting for years, literal years. You will not have a better opportunity than you have right now to negotiate hard with a seller and to get terms that are attractive to you and to get a price that is attractive. This is your time. Okay? This is your time, because there is a bunch of houses on market and none of them are selling in all price ranges. Okay? If you want more detail on that data, I can snap a picture of my notes and send it to you, or you can text me or call me and I can get more specific with you. But that's where we are. And that's where you have got to do a good job of educating both buyers and sellers about where they are. Okay. Offers now. Okay. On listings in the office over the past couple of weeks, we've had some offers. The agents have called. Hey, I don't know what to do, or can you not they don't know, they know what to do. Can I bounce this off you? Can I talk to you about this? And my answer has been the same. Find a way to get to agreement and get it sold. Okay? Get it done. Who remembers 2021? Okay? Remember in 2021 when we had buyers and they were shopping, and it was like, do it. The faster you do it, the better off you're going to be, right? Because the prices keep going up, the demand keeps going up, and every month that goes by, it's going to be an uglier situation for you, or a situation that's less desirable for you. Everybody remember that? Not if you remember, if you're on camera. I know you remember, okay? This is the same concept for sellers, except this way today. Right? The sooner you do it, the better it's going to be. The more you hang on right now, the more you hang on, the worse it's going to get. Now, I know what you're going to say, but Damian, it's just a cycle and blah. I understand that. And I'm not talking to the people that don't care whether they sell or not. Okay? If you don't care whether you sell or not, then fine. If you don't get what you want, write it out. Do what you want. But it could be a while. If that doesn't matter, that's okay. It could be a while. But if you're in a position where you need to transact, where you need to sell, when something needs to happen, sooner is better than later right now. Period. Period. Okay? They need to know that. Anybody got any questions before we move on, or comments? Anything to say? Conversations you've had out there, things you want to share, anything. Anybody want to go, holy crap, are those numbers real? No? Okay. Let's talk about what's next. How to be a closer. It's not what you think, right? I want to make it really, really easy for you. If you want to be a closer, you got to learn how to do one thing. And it's the most difficult thing in the world in our job. Okay. If you want to be an effective closer, you've got to learn how to shut your mouth. Okay. Shut your mouth. And it's really, really difficult for salespeople, and especially difficult for real estate agents, and especially difficult for real estate agents in a challenging economy. And I get that because we want to be an expert, right? Not only do we want to be an expert, but we want the business, right? So our instinct, our default, our tendency is to just keep pounding on them with whatever we can come up with all the data. Damian says I got to have data, right? With all the marketing, Damian says I got to talk about marketing. With all of the features and benefits and syndication, Damian says I got to have that until they say yes. Right? I get it. It's hard. We want to overwhelm them with our awesomeness and the awesomeness of our program so that they say, okay, I'm ready to sign. You're my guy. You're my gal. I like what I hear. But the reality of it is different things are important to different people. Number one, we always have to remember that. And if you can learn to shut your mouth, and if you can learn to ask the right questions and let them talk, they will tell you what it is that makes them a yes. Okay? They will tell you what it is that they need to feel comfortable, what it is that they need to sign your agreement. Okay? They will provide that for you, and then you can simply address that. Okay? And oh, by the way, this is how we're going to do it. Let me give you an example of what that looks like. Okay? In the last listing appointment that I had, I tell you guys, I came with everything. Okay? I came with everything. I had the book, I had the data sheets, I had the listing agreement, I had all of these things. Okay? When I got to the house, I said, hey, it's nice to meet you. You know, let's walk around. And then I start asking questions. How long have you been here? What comes next? You know, what's important to you? Do you have a lot of relationships on this street? Where are you moving to? Where'd you get that painting? Where'd you get that clock? Right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Going on, going on, going on, going on. Funneling down to more questions, more questions, more questions, more questions, more questions, funneling down to finding out what the most important thing to this person was for a real estate agent. Okay. What it finally funneled down to was I really, really want an Auburn person. Okay. That's what it finally funneled down to. When we got there, what I focused on for about 2.5 minutes was I grew up in this neighborhood. Okay. My parents' house is still right over that hill. My address is this. Okay. You cannot get any more of an Auburn guy than me. My office is in Auburn. I grew up in Auburn. My parents still live in Auburn. They live in this neighborhood, right? I know this. I sold that house over there. I sold that house over there. I sold that house over there. Okay. In Christian Valley, in 2 years, I've sold 15 houses. This is my neighborhood. She said, that's what I want. I said, let's do some paperwork. We did the paperwork. And then I said, great. Now that we're signed, let me tell you how I'm going to sell your house. Okay. We talked about a couple of pages in the book. Some people want to talk about 7 pages in the book. Some people want to talk about 2 pages in the book. We talked about staging. We talked about photography. We talked about all of it. Guys, remember, I was there for like 3 hours. So we talked about a lot of stuff. Okay. But we did that after I found out, okay, what's really important to you? How am I going to get you from you're one of 3 to yes? How am I going to get you to sign my listing agreement? Because that's what I'm really here for. Okay. That's what I'm really here for. How many of you, be honest, how many of you, and you don't have to chime in if you don't want to, ask yourself this question. How many of you would have done all of the other stuff first? Most of you. Most people do. Okay, most people do. Hi, I'm Michael, right? Here's all my cool stuff. Check it out, right? It's going to be great. Okay? It's going to be great. Effective closers, people who close at a high percentage of appointment, don't talk all that much. Okay? They don't talk all that much. They're really, really good at listening. Okay? That old adage, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. They're really good at listening, and they're really, really good at asking questions, and they are masters of what I like to call asking one more question. Like this. How long have you lived in this house? I've been here 30 years. Oh, wow, that's really incredible. Moving on to the next set of questions. Okay. Rather than, instead of that, how long have you lived in this house? I've been here 30 years. Oh, wow, that is a long time. Did you build it? Okay. Asking one more question. Why do we ask one more question? Why is that so effective? Can anybody tell me why that's such an effective technique and why it works so well with people? I'll give you a hint. The answer is not because people love answering questions. They don't. All right. So why is it such an effective technique? Can anybody tell me why?
The deep dive, getting to the why.
You're getting to the why. Yes. Yes. There's more. Can anybody tell me why asking one more question is so effective?
Interested.
Shows that you're interested. Yes. Yes.
Did you?
I can't hear what she's saying.
I just said shows you're interested.
It shows you're interested. Yes. That's very, very close. It not only shows that you're interested, but it demonstrates that you care. Right? I'm not just another appointment. I'm just another name. This guy actually cares about my history here, what my process is, what's happening next. He's invested in my success. He cares about why I'm doing this. Versus, I'm just going to put the hard sell on you, going to put the hard sell on you, going to put the hard sell on you, going to put the hard sell on you. Okay? So every time we ask one more question, every time we go deep dive, What we're really saying to the client or the potential client is, hey, you know what? This process and why you're doing it and what's happening with you really matters to me. It matters enough to me to spend a bunch of my time to figure out what's really going on here. Okay? What's really going on here? And so what I do is I challenge myself. Every time I think I'm done, or every time I think I've got all of the answers that I need, or that the conversation's coming to a close, one more question. Just ask one more question, Damian, and see where it leads. See where it goes. You'll know when it's over because there will be an awkward silence. Okay? There will be an awkward silence. When the awkward silence comes, and it will, that's when you need to read the room. Okay? And what I mean by read the room is now that we're in this awkward silence, is my potential client happy? Are they in a good place with how this has gone? Or are they not so happy, AKA not comfortable? Right? If they're happy, what do we do at that point? Somebody, anybody. Right. Ask for the order, right? It's time to do some paperwork. It seems like it's a good time to do some paperwork. Are you ready to do that? Ask for the business, right? If they're in a good place after all that's happened and they're smiling and it's feeling positive, ask for the damn order. Ask for the listing agreement. Okay? Do you know how many people don't do that? It's ridiculous. I don't know how many. I don't know a percentage, but it's ridiculous. All right. Flip side of the coin. They're not happy. They're not comfortable. What do we do at that point? If they're not happy and they're not comfortable, what do we do at that point? Awkward silence, unhappy, uncomfortable. What happens then? This is the hard part. What happens then?
If you know why, then you should call them on it and say, it seems like you're not ready to do this because.
Or,
Oh.
but I like that, Michael, but what if you're wrong? What if the because is wrong? Right? But that is very, very close. What I do is say, you know, it seems like you're not comfortable with what we've discussed. It seems like there's some unresolved issues. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about them. What's going on with you right now? Are you uncomfortable with something that I said as far as our program is concerned? Do you have unanswered questions? Do you not like me? Are we not a good fit? You know, let's talk about it. Okay. And then we start the whole process again. Okay. And here's the thing that I'll tell you for sure that I know. Unless you are a complete a-hole, which is possible, okay, and it's just it's a bad fit, which is possible, okay? If you get to the awkward silence part and it's the uncomfortable part, it's because you didn't ask enough questions and you used your mouth too much. Okay? That's the golden nugget of all of it. If you've gone through that whole process and they're not comfortable, what that means is you ran your mouth and you didn't ask enough questions, because if you did ask enough questions, they'd be comfortable. Okay? So if you get to that point where they're uncomfortable, or you get to that point where the awkward silence comes and it's a negative awkward silence versus a positive awkward silence, that's your cue. That's your cue. We're doing it all again. And this time, I'm going to do a better job of shutting up, listening, asking questions, and waiting for the answer. Hearing the answer. Okay? Hear the answer, know how to respond to it, use it to further the comfort level of the client, and get to the close. Who knows the difference between listening and waiting to talk? Okay? Who knows the difference between listening and waiting to talk? When I'm in an argument with my significant other, I ain't listening. I'm waiting to talk. I'm going to tell you right now, straight up. Okay? Not listening, waiting to talk. Okay? We all have situations like that, or have been in situations like that where it's like, yeah, I'm listening to you. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not listening. You're waiting to talk. Okay? When you're in a session, when you're in a conversation with a client, and this takes practice, you guys, it takes a lot, especially for people like me, it takes a ton of practice. Okay? Be darn sure that you are listening versus waiting to talk. And then the most common thing is people will listen to the first sentence and then be waiting to talk, even though there was 6 more sentences to go. Okay, so I ask Michael a question. I say, hey, what kind of cars you like, right? Michael starts to tell me what kind of cars he likes. And the first thing that he says is, well, I like muscle cars, right? And so now I'm like, done, waiting to talk. As soon as you're done, I'm going to talk about muscle cars. But what I missed out on was Michael said that he likes muscle cars, but they're not his favorite car, because what he really likes is this, because muscle cars are problematic and blah, blah, blah. I missed all that because all I heard was muscle cars, and now I'm waiting to talk. Okay. You have to wait until they're all the way done and listen to all of it, before you respond. And how do you know when they're all the way done? Somebody tell me that. How do you know when a potential client is done talking?
There may be silence.
There will be silence. How much silence? Two to 3 seconds. It looks like this. Michael, you ready? You ready to go?
Okay.
Unmute yourself. All right. Let's not get carried away because we don't have all day. Tell me, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. Hey, Michael, I noticed that you're wearing an orange shirt today. Tell me, why do you like the color orange?
Oh, Damian, I'm wearing an orange shirt because it's the company color and today's the company meeting. And I thought that wearing an orange should be appropriate to wear at a company meeting. And not only that, but it's also a really comfortable shirt. And it's made out of a really nice fabric. And that's the most important thing, is that, it has really good fabric. Okay, I like to be comfortable. It's one of the most important things to me, is being comfortable.
So, Michael, what I hear you saying is it's not really about the color. It's more about the fabric, because at the end of the day, what truly matters to you is comfort.
Something like being comfortable.
So, Michael, if I were to say to you that I can offer you the absolutely most comfortable shirt on the planet, and that I can deliver that to you immediately, would you be interested in that?
Yeah, for sure. Can I get an orange one?
Okay, so Michael, I'm ready to deliver that to you, and yes, I can do that in orange. Are you ready to sign with me today so that we can get started?
Sign right now.
Thank you. Okay. I know it's fun, it's laughable, it's silly, but guys, how many of us, I mean, hold your breath for 3 seconds. It's a long time. How many of us can deal with that awkward 3 seconds of dead air? I've got to tell. Okay. You'll always know when I'm doing it because I have to fight the urge just like you do. Did you guys notice what I did? You notice what I did when he stopped talking? Anybody notice? I sit there and I'd go like this. I nod my head, right? I nod my head because I've trained myself that when I'm nodding my head, I don't speak. I just nod. Mm-hmm. 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 I know this all sounds kind of silly, but this takes practice. Okay. And so you have to find strategies that you can use to shut up. Right? It's not as easy as it sounds. It's not. So I do 2 things. Okay. Going to sound stupid right now, but I do 2 things. Number 1, when somebody's talking, I put my tongue on the roof of my mouth and I nod my head. You want to know why I put my tongue on the roof of my mouth? You can't talk when your tongue's on the roof of your mouth. Okay. So my trick is I put the tongue on the roof of my mouth, I nod my head, and then when the person's done talking, I count to 2 before I let my tongue off the roof of my mouth. Then I can talk. Okay. And I know this all sounds silly and funny and it, but whatever. But I'm telling you right now, if you can train yourself, if you can learn to shut your mouth, ask one more question, and wait for people to answer and talk fully through whatever thought process they have before you respond, 2 things will happen. Number 1, the person will tell you everything you need to know to win, to be successful, to get the business, to get the reduction, to get them to sign the offer, whatever it is, to get them to sign the BRBC, to get them to decide to write the offer on the house. They will tell you everything they need to know to take that step. Number 1. Number 2, your close rate will double. Whatever it is right now, it will double. Okay. How many of you know what your close rate is on listing presentations? How many of you know what it is? I know Jessica's 100%. Really good. How many of you know what it is? People that have been doing it for a while, realtors that have been doing it for a while. Let's see, I've got iPhone. I don't know who that is. I've got Chad. Chad could chime in. I've got another iPhone. I don't know who that is. Who's iPhone? C Romig. C Romig, are you driving? Can you talk? Do you know what your close rate on listing presentations is and how many years? If you're
Yeah, in about 10 years, I've lost one.
Whoa, that's really good.
And that's the one that I walked out with my listing presentation packet.
Where you took the paper with you?
Yep.
You're a savage. You know what? That's higher. That's higher than mine, Chad. Really, really good. You should give yourself a high five for sure. Anybody else has been doing it for a while?
But whatever I have in percentage, I'm sure you make up in quantity. So
Yeah. That's I'm not sure that's good.
but I
Anybody
do.
else that's been doing it for a while got a eyeball on the percentage? Is Brendan in here? I know he had showing, so I'm not sure he's in here yet. Okay. In 25 years, mine's high 90s. But Chad's got to be 98, 99%. Mine's not that high. Mine's not that high. Okay. Questions, comments, thoughts? Anybody want to challenge the exercise? Anybody want to role play and or practice? Anybody want to try and beat me? No?
I think Damian, for me, it's just you're describing a lot of what I do. For me, as I don't all the sales tactics and training and techniques that we can have, in my mind, never beats caring. And rather than pretending to care, I say, well, why don't I just care? And I can't care about somebody that I don't know and don't understand. So I get to know them and I get to understand them.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge. Those are
And,
great points. Great points. Well, I think we figured out why your close percentage is so high, Chad. I mean, honestly, that's amazing. That's an amazing perspective. Thanks for sharing that. Wow. Why don't I just care? I love that. That's probably going to show up on a t-shirt. Why don't I just care? And I can't care about somebody I don't know, so I actually get to know them and understand them. Okay. Guys, that's coming from a guy that's lost one listing agreement in 10 years. Okay. That's pretty good. Anybody else? No? I thought I'd get a lot more challenge out of you. Okay. Well, then, hey, it's 50. I'll get you out of here. And if you have questions, you have questions on the stats, you have questions about how I present, you have questions about shut your mouth, you have questions about 2 ears and 1 mouth, questions about asking one more question, you know where to find me. I'd love to tell you more about it. Okay. I'm going to click the button in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you later.